These are the 5 most powerful gaming CPUs under 10 bucks. And I actually bought all of them myself on eBay. Let's be honest, building a gaming PC in 2025 isn't exactly wallet-friendly. Even the so-called budget CPUs from Intel or AMD can still cost more than your entire setup's worth. While everyone's busy chasing the latest and greatest chips, nobody talks about the hidden legends. Those older CPUs that still pack serious power for gaming if you know where to look. Most people overlook them, assuming they're outdated trash, but they're missing out big time. So today, I'm going to show you 5 amazing CPUs you can grab for under $10, and trust me, the performance will surprise you. Quick spoiler, the 4th CPU on this list is an absolute beast, totally worth picking up. Let's jump right in. Pretty much every CPU I'm testing today is a Xeon, with just one exception. Now, Intel Xeon chips are mainly designed for workstations and enterprise servers, so they're usually expensive, confusingly named, and not something most casual PC builders even look at. But here's the thing. A lot of Xeons are basically the same as Core i3s, i5s, or even i7s when it comes to performance. The main difference is they use different sockets and motherboards. They usually don't support overclocking, depending on the model. And the best part, they're way cheaper. Now, the low price doesn't mean these Xeons are bad. Far from it. They're cheap because most companies lease their workstations and servers. Once the contracts end, they return the machines, upgrade to new ones, and the old hardware, which still works perfectly fine, gets sold off in bulk for super low prices. Right now, one of the best deals out there is the Haswell EP Xeon lineup from around 2014 to 2015, running on the LGA 2011 V3 socket. These chips still offer solid performance, support DDR4 memory, and you can easily find cheap X99 motherboards from China to pair them with. So here's the plan. We're going from the cheapest CPU to the most expensive one, and then I'll use Fortnite as our performance benchmark to see how each of these $10 CPUs actually performs in gaming. For the test setup, all CPUs will be paired with the same GPU and RTX 2060 Super 8GB and 16GB of RAM to keep things completely fair. All the games will be tested at low settings, so the CPU becomes the main bottleneck, letting us see how much raw processing power each chip really has. First up, we've got the Xeon E5-2630 V3, which I picked up for just $4.90. Yep, under $5. It's an 8-core, 16-thread CPU with a base clock of 2.4 GHz and boost up to 3.2 GHz. Now, those numbers might not sound crazy by today's standards, but here's the thing. This chip was built for workstations, meaning it's rock solid, super stable, and designed to handle heavy multitasking for hours without breaking a sweat. Once we jumped into the game, this CPU really surprised me. Even with a clock speed of just 2.6 GHz, it was pushing triple-digit FPS, even during the parachute drop. When picking up loot, frame rate stayed around 180 frames per second, and during intense fights, it still held steady at about 120 frames per second. There were a few minor drops when players got close or when explosions went off, but overall it stayed impressively. What's even cooler is that it only drew about 45 watts of power, even though the manufacturer rates it at 85 watts. Since this game doesn't fully utilize all the cores and threads, that kind of efficiency actually makes perfect sense. Next up, we've got the Xeon E5-1620 VE4, released around 2016 as part of Intel's Broadwell EP lineup. It originally launched as a high-end workstation CPU, priced at nearly $300 when new. It packs 4 cores and 8 threads, clocked at 3.5 GHz base and 3.8 GHz boost, with strong single-core performance for its time. Built on the LGA 2011 V3 platform, it supports DDR4 and still delivers surprisingly solid results in modern titles. And the crazy part? I picked this one up for only $5.90, less than a sandwich, which makes it insane value for budget gamers experimenting with old-school power. Once the match started, the CPU was running close to 90% utilization, pretty much maxed out. Even though its clock speed is noticeably higher than the previous chip, the FPS was actually a bit lower, around 20 to 30 frames less. While picking up loot, it peaked at about 150 frames per second, and during gunfights with other players, it dropped to around 120 frames per second. The key difference, though, is stability. This CPU didn't suffer from the same frame drops during combat, making the overall experience feel much smoother and more consistent. Next up is the Intel Core i3-7100, which I grabbed for just $8. Unlike the workstation-grade Xeons, this one's a 7th Gen Kaby Lake CPU made for everyday desktops. It features 2 cores and 4 threads running at 3.9 GHz, giving it excellent single-core speed, or something games still love today. While the Xeons rely on huge core counts and multitasking, the i3-7100 wins with snappy response, simplicity, and power efficiency. For less than $10, it's a perfect pick for a no-nonsense budget gaming build that just works right out of the box. When I first launched the game, I realized this CPU's biggest strength is definitely power efficiency. It uses only about half the power of those Xeon chips. In lighter scenes without any combat, it held around 120 frames per second, but once the action kicked in, frame rates dropped to about 80 frames per second. It's not the smoothest experience out there, but honestly, if you already have an LGA 1151 platform, this budget CPU is still worth trying. A solid, low-cost option that gets the job done. Now, this next chip is something most people have never heard about, the Xeon E5-2667V3. Back in 2014, this thing powered $5,000 enterprise workstations used for 3D rendering, film production, and financial simulations. It's got 8 cores and 16 threads, base clock at 3.2 GHz, and can boost past 3.6 GHz, all on Intel's Haswell EP platform. In its day, it was competing with early i7 Extreme editions, and performance-wise, it's roughly on par with a 9th Gen i9 today. The wild part? I bought it for $9. You're literally holding server-grade firepower that once ran Pixar scenes, now sitting inside a budget gaming rig for the price of a sandwich. Alright, let's jump into the game. I've been really looking forward to seeing how this CPU performs. Right from the start, it hit a peak of 228 frames per second, which is seriously impressive. During normal movement, it held steady around 190 frames per second, which for me is perfectly fine for some try-hard gameplay. Even during gunfights, it stayed around 150 frames per second, with no noticeable drops at all. I've gotta say, this CPU is absolutely worth it for anything under $10. But it does have one critical downside, and I'll get to that in just a moment. And finally, the last CPU on this list, and honestly one of the most impressive, the Xeon E3-1241V3. This chip runs on the LGA 1150 socket, one of Intel's most popular and widely supported platforms. It's a 4-core, 8-thread processor built on the Haswell architecture, and performance-wise, it's right up there with the legendary Core i7-4790. The crazy part? I got it for only $10. It's fast, efficient, and drops right into tons of older boards without any special setup, making it one of the best hidden value CPUs you can still grab for budget gaming in 2025. Alright, let's get into the game. To be honest, I didn't see much of a difference with this CPU. It's clearly being pushed to its limits, running at over 90% usage most of the time. FPS-wise, there's not much improvement compared to the previous chip. In fact, it's sometimes even lower. During gunfights, the frame rate stayed around 100 FPS. Even though its clock speed is slightly higher, what really gave the E5-2667V3 the edge earlier was its massive 20 megabytes of L3 cache, compared to just 8 megabytes on this E3-1241V3. Still, this CPU does have a few advantages. It's more power efficient, and it runs on the popular LGA 1150 platform, which means finding a compatible motherboard is easy and cheap. Meanwhile, building a setup for the LGA 2011 V3 socket used by the Xeons can cost you a lot more. So, what are the downsides of these Xeon CPUs? Well, the biggest one is that they don't officially support Windows 11, and installing or running newer games can be a real pain. But honestly, for the tiny amount of money you spend, using one of these for a year or two is still a pretty smart temporary option. And if I had to pick the best CPU out of all 5, it would definitely be the E5-2667V3. The performance you get for the price is just unbeatable. Do you agree with my choice? Drop a like and leave a comment down below. I'd love to hear what you think. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.